This is News Today. The Bureau of Public Safety has lodged the IGP and all servicemen within the Ghana Police Service for effective policing during the Yuletide and the New Year. The Bureau of Public Safety especially lodged the service for the consistency, professionalism and the deftness demonstrated in the visibility policing initiative so far. I spoke earlier with DSP Freeman Tete, who is with the Ghana Police Public Affairs Directorate.
The survey set out to look at the police on the front lines. What logistics do they have to work? We also considered availability of cars or motor vehicles. We looked at provision of tents and canopies at wherever these people were, keeping the watch for the public. We also looked at radio communications, restrooms. You realize that is the last part of it, because we just want to be sure that when these men or boys, as my senior here will call them, are on the field to work, they stay at their post and deliver, service to the public.
It's always come under the passion, particularly from our brothers from the NGO community. So we are very grateful that for the first time they've seen the need to commend the police, and we are not averse to criticism, but at least we must be encouraged most often. Even the criticism is coming, we believe that it's just fair that we should be encouraged as well to do our work. Because these boys are spending sleepless nights just to fight crime. It's our responsibility though, but at the end of the day, they are human beings with feelings. So if at every point in time, no matter how well intent we meant, we come under the bashing of a lot of people, then it becomes a very big issue. So I see, you rightly put it, this is the first time, and we are very grateful for him that criticism should come, but at the end of the day, it should be very constructive. It should not run down the institution. So, there are certain parts of the city that you don't necessarily need. You see, the whole concept is not about fighting crime there, it's to deter people from committing crime. So we have our regular patrol teams on the move, fully armed. That within a second, if I may use this advisedly, the visibility team, which is the first responder, should be in a position to call the patrol team. Even if there's an accident, what the visibility teams at the various points are supposed to do is to call a mobile team from the MTTU. Unless, of course, that incident cannot wait, then they have to give more or less first aid to it. So it's not in all cases that we have to arm everybody, because there are areas, for example, when they come to visibility from the Accra region, we have the national visibility outfit. Most of them are not armed for a reason. But for Accra visibility, because of the area that they go to conduct operation, so at least one of them should be carrying arms.
Two weeks ago, the National Blood Transfusion Service announced stocks at the Kolebu Blood Bank had reduced drastically because it couldn't meet their 200 units of blood per day, which serves over 50 hospitals in the Accra catchment area, making it imperative for members of the public to donate some blood to the service. I'm joined by the head of the Accra Area Blood Center, Dr. Paul Mensah. Hello, Doc.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Many thanks for joining us on News Today. Right, Doc, since 2 weeks ago, has the situation changed at the Blood Center?
Well, it's seen a little bit of improvements, but definitely we are not out of the woods yet. I need to say that some members of the public have responded positively and are coming in to donate blood. But the demand has remained the same, and the demand always outstrips the supply. So we are just inching our way out of the woods. Definitely not anything to be comfortable by. as at today.
Last time we spoke to the PR for the blood center, he told us that you were going to organize a blood donation exercise at the Accra Mall. Did that come off?
Yes, it came off last Saturday.
How did it go?
Well, we collected 52 donors turned up. 52 people donated last Saturday at the Accra Mall. But we just want the public to be aware that the Accra Mall station is open every last Saturday of the month. So if you are not able to make it in January, check out the last Saturday of February, and we'll be there again at Gate 1.
How much or how many units of blood do we have at the center now?
I think we have about 120 as at yesterday. Today I haven't stepped into the office. I don't know the figures as at today, but as at yesterday we had about 120.
And that does not even meet the daily requirements.
Exactly.
Right. So what's the plan beyond the Accra Mall donation center every Saturday? What's the plan?
Well, the plan is that we are always in the community soliciting for people to arrange blood sessions, mobile sessions. We have teams that go out into the community. So if you are approached, either your church, a faith-based organization, or your corporate institution, or your school is approached for a blood donation exercise, I think that you should not shirk the responsibility.
But are you doing it? Are you going to these places?
Yes, we are doing that all the time. We are doing that all the time. But you remember that we can't force a blood donation exercise on any institution. And sometimes the response that we get from the public is not encouraging. So that's what I'm saying, that people have to embrace blood donation, realizing that when blood is needed, it has to come from another human being.
Dr. Mensah, when I asked the question, I was hoping you were going to tell me you were going to maybe go to this corporate institution, you had the exercise to go to the school ABC. Do you have a plan like that? Yes,
we do. And we work by plans. Those who are familiar with our activities know that there is a plan for going into schools, especially the senior high schools, the universities, and so on. So there's a plan. But then others also visit our website, or when people hear the news, they actually do call us to arrange sessions. So the website is national nbsghana.org. And if you visit the website, you find a schedule of our activities. You may just find out that there's a mobile blood session in your vicinity, and then you could always join it and donate blood to help save lives.
Right. And when are we going to see you roll out this plan?
Sorry?
When are we going to see you roll out this plan?
The plan is already rolled out.
So why do you think that we still can't stock the blood bank? People aren't donating anymore? We are not interested in it anymore?
Exactly, yes. And I think that the answer stares us in the face. People don't donate. And when people don't donate, we shouldn't be surprised that the blood banks have no blood.
How dangerous is this?
Well, if you think about the situations in which people do need blood, for example, I mean, most of the blood is used up by obstetric cases, women in labor, or gynecological cases, women with fibroids, people who need operations, have to undergo surgeries, children with severe malaria. So you realize that when blood is needed, it's often an emergency, people who have had road traffic accidents and the like. When blood is needed, it's often an emergency, and I think that's the answer to your question stares us as if blood is needed and it's not ready and waiting at the blood bank. Your guess is as good as mine.
I see. Thank you very much, Doc, once again for joining us on News Today. Dr. Paul Mensah is head of the Accra Area Blood Center. We stay with the hospitals. So the first phase of work on a 600-bed University of Ghana teaching hospital is about 17% complete. The hospital, which is expected to be completed by 2015, will serve as a major training facility for medical students at the university.
The University of Ghana, through the government, acquired a loan facility of $270 million from the Israeli government to build a 600-bed capacity teaching hospital. Work at the site began in April 2013 after the contract was signed in October the previous year. The project includes a central building, maternity and pediatrics, inpatient wards, training and simulation center, as well as a staff housing which is yet to commence. Minister of Health Shariate and the university authorities who paid a visit to the site on Monday were assured the project would be handed over 36 months from now.
Apart from the housing, each of them, so far, we've come out of the ground. We are on the first floor. About 50% or so of the first floor slab has been cut, and the columns are coming up for the second floor. In the next couple of months, they will be able to complete everything.
Sector Minister Shariate noted the completion of the project will go a long way to enhance the training of health personnel and improve the doctor-patient ratio.
We'll be able to send more doctors to the rural areas, very deprived communities. And also this hospital, this training institution will also train special doctors in various specialties in medicine. So it means that we'll also save money by sending doctors overseas. We hope that this will help us to cut down on the high attrition rate of medical personnel.
She added, plans are also underway to construct a similar facility at KNUST, Volta and Cape Coast medical institutions. Vice Chancellor Professor Ernest Aite said the 600-bed hospital, when completed, would be used to its full capacity.
This new facility, clinical work for all of these professionals would be enhanced. It's our intention that we should have the best facility in the region. Through the arrangements that have been made, many people will be going out to Israel for training in how to run this hospital. It's our promise to the people of Ghana that the hospital will be used to the best of our abilities.
When completed, it is expected that the facility with specialized centers will train about 1,000 doctors within the next 10 years, which will also go a long way to improve healthcare delivery as well as ease the pressure on the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
The Coalition for Farmers' Rights, Food Sovereignty Ghana and the Convention People's Party have raised concerns that if Parliament goes ahead to pass the Plant Breeders Bill, it will introduce dangerous modifications in the DNA of foods causing diseases and deformities. This morning, the Coalition for Farmers' Rights went on a demonstration against the adoption of genetically modified foods in Ghana. A member of the National Biosafety Committee, Professor Sando Al-Hassan, has been speaking to the Plant Breeders Bill and the issue of genetically modified foods. Let's get listen.
The Plant Breeders Bill actually is for the protection of intellectual property in the area of development of varieties of plants. It's just like somebody has patented this laptop or whatever it is you are holding. He doesn't want others to come and use it without paying for his knowledge. So it's a similar thing, that somebody has spent maybe thousands or millions of dollars to come out with a particular high-yielding variety, and he wants to take the benefits of that investment. So now with this type of bill in Parliament, he can go to protect it in the country. This has nothing to do with GMOs per se, though GMO is a plant variety. It doesn't come in. I don't know where the thing was resurrected from. The Plant Breeders Bill comes from the UPOF Convention, and UPOF is really closely associated with WIPO in a way. In fact, even they share offices in Geneva or somewhere like that, in Geneva. So, but they focus on making sure that people who spend their lifestyle and money investment to come up with new plant varieties, they get benefit for it. Ghana, whether it's GM, we are dealing with GM, non-GM, or what is it?
We'll bring you an update on the demonstration exercise in subsequent bulletins. Now, the Veterinary Service of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has met over the poor state of the Wa Abattoir. The meeting follows Joynews' expose on the poor state of the Abattoir.
Public health specialist of the veterinary service in charge of public health and food safety unit, Dr. Bashir Boy Kikimoto, who led the team of veterinary officials to the abattoir, expressed worry about the deteriorating conditions.
Make sure that you cooperate with all the people who are working in the slaughterhouse so that the meat that you bring out is safe for human consumption. Don't forget, our MCE is eating meat. You yourself, you eat meat. The president eats meat. So if you take maybe money, you put money first, you are likely to bring out diseases for human beings to eat the meat.
A senior butcher at the abattoir, Awu Mumuni, thanked the media, especially Joy News, for showing to the country and the world at large the conditions under which they are operating, stating that their greatest challenge at the abattoir is the acute water shortage. The other issue raised was the meat van, which is also not in good condition, forcing most of them to use their motorbikes to send the meat to the Wa markets for sale. The Wa Municipal Chief Executive, Isaha Kunuhu Putiaha, acknowledged the concerns raised by the butchers and promised to urgently tackle them, especially the issue of water.
After going through the place with them and also with the big man from Accra, two key issues came up: getting regular water to the place and also getting relocating this waste septic tank. And some can take some time, but some could be done immediately. So immediately we'll try to see how best to fix a bigger pump for them to use.
There's more news ahead, don't go away. You're welcome back to News Today. A 33-year-old woman from the Central Region is in police custody for murder. Ekuabedu is accused of setting ablaze her estranged husband of 7 years, his new wife, and their baby. Marian Ture has the rest of the story.
The police received reports of a fire outbreak in a house at Tantra Hills, a suburb of Accra, at about 2 a.m. today, which they attended to with help from the Ghana National Fire Service. 3 bodies, a male, female, a baby, were discovered. Upon suspecting foul play, the police and the Ghana National Fire Service Joint Task Force conducted thorough investigations which led them to the suspect. DCOP Christian Tete Nyahuno is Accra Regional Police Commander.
When the fire scene was inspected, they realized that in the room, 3 people were burnt to death. They have arrested a suspect, a lady who was the wife of the deceased man, that is Amos Asobare, whose name is Efua Bedu, aged 33 years, who hails from Edina Benyaje in the Central Region. Suspect was arrested at a hideout at the Sprinters Road, Matichu. And then over there, they saw some marks of burns on her body. And when the police put to her that she was the brain behind this the arson, she broke down and confessed. During interrogation, Efua Bedu, 33 years, informed police that she got married to the deceased man, that is Ms. Amos Asoribare, about 7 years ago. Along the marriage, there were problems here and there. So, an arrangements were made for settlement to see whether they could patch up their differences. But eventually the man indicated that he was no more interested in the marriage. And then he went to his hometown and brought the deceased lady, who is called Felicity Asorbai, with another child.
On the way forward, he says,
we'll continue with the investigations and then the process her to court. And eventually we'll start from the magistrate court. So from here, we may refer the case to the homicide unit at the National Police Headquarters for continuation of the investigation. It's taking off one's life, so it's murder. So we are going to charge her. The highest charge is murder.
Marian Ture for Joy News, Accra.
Let's do some business news now. And the General Manager of GN Investments, Benjamin Kofi Afre, has asked small businesses to take full advantage of opportunities the Ghana alternative markets presents to them. He believes the markets, when accessed by SMEs, will enable them raise long-term funding for the operations and give them global presence.
One of the major problems SMEs have always identified has been raising capital for their work, expansion, new product lines and all that. Now, the Ghana alternative market is to help these companies, raise that long-term capital they need for their businesses in a much easier way than normal, okay? So that the cost of raising the capital is much lower than if they're going to the market to borrow. It also, takes the pressure to pay monthly interest and all that away, gives them a bit of time to plan and utilize the funds properly. So that is why we believe that it's a market that every SME with its business must take advantage of. It is good for people to look at that. And also for some Ghanaians to also share in what these SMEs are doing and to promote it outside Ghana where the opportunity is available. So I would say that it is a very good market, a good product that the GSE has brought that all of us Ghanaians should support to make it successful.
Now, the processes for these SMEs to list on the market, how different is it from the other companies who do list? You are a broker, so let us understand how convenient this market is.
Well, to start off, because of the relevance of the Ghana alternative market to the economy, what the GSE is doing is that there are certain rules that they've bent over to make it a bit more flexible for the SMEs to list. To support them, the stock exchange, in collaboration with some partners, have put together a fund, an SME support, listing support fund, because some SMEs might not be able to raise the initial money they need to engage the valuers, the auditors and accountants to do all that. Now, what the support fund is supposed to do is to help them pay for some of these costs. I look at some of the disclosures that, the stringent disclosures that are supposed to be made on the main market, but some of them have been watered down so the SMEs can easily list on the market. Again, if you look at the fact that as soon as somebody lists on the market, you have that global appeal. Because once you go there, somebody wants to know what does this company do and whether I can take advantage. So there are so many positive sides, and I think, seriously, that all SMEs must look forward to listing on the alternative market.
Challenges associated with trade across West and Central Africa, mainly as a result of poor and expensive road transport, should be over soon. This is because from July, traders would have access to 3 ships for their shipments when a special shipping line expected to improve trade across the 2 sub-regions is launched. Board of Sea-Link Promotional Company, the special purpose vehicle for the initiative, Wilson Atakrofa says visibility studies on the $60 million shipping line revealed the project would be financially and commercially profitable.
The current practice whereby traders, convey their goods by road, involves a lot of restrictions and difficulties. Firstly, you have to travel across the various borders, which will allow you to subject yourself to a lot of delays. And also, even whilst you are in transit, you encounter difficulties with the security agencies, who sometimes, without authority, will demand monies from the traders, and that makes the cost of transportation very difficult. But if you go by sea, there are no barriers on the sea, and also you can carry more cargo at a go, which makes it more cost effective and more convenient for the traders to travel around. I would believe that by this means, we'll be able to expand the volume of business that we do amongst ourselves. And it also offers a bigger market.
According to him, they have begun the search for private investors, which should be finalized by April. He adds the ECOWAS Commission has also assured them it will provide the needed support to overcome the existing trade barriers on the continent.
Really facilitate trade amongst West Africans, and we believe that the time is now opportune for us to go to this arrangement as quickly as possible. Now, if it's that the shipping line will provide is that they will provide what we call a cabotage arrangement. They will pick cargo from one country to another, and then if there's a demand.
In the meantime, governments within West Africa, including Ghana, are already pushing to become the host nation for the shipping line. Crawford has meanwhile assured mechanisms have been put in place to ensure the instability in the Central African Republic poses no threat to their business. The Coalition for Farmers' Rights is organizing a demonstration in protest of the Plant Breeders Bill. They say it will introduce dangerous modifications in the DNA of foods causing diseases and deformities. My colleague Adelaide Arthur has been with the group and she joins us over the telephone for a quick update. Hello, Adelaide.
Hello, Kemi.
What can you tell us?
Yeah, they've onwards to launch the demonstrations. They started from the Obra Sports at Circle through the principal streets of Accra and then finally to the Arts Center. And now they've launched the coalition. That's the Coalition for Farmers' Rights and Advocacy Against GMO. And they are insisting that GMOs are unsafe, insisting that an opportunity for international organizations like Monsanto's and others to take advantage of our seeds and invade the market. So at the moment, they are on their way to Jamestown to meet the Wolome. And, the chairman of the coalition, Samia Nkrumah, spoke a lot about how the plant breeders will do nothing but to harm our economy and agriculture in the country.
Right. And in their bid to make sure the Plant Breeders Bill does not come to fruition, what are the steps they intend to take?
Well, they are saying they intend to reach farmers, first of all, to explain to them the bad effects of this Plant Breeders Bill. They are going to reach out to traditional leaders before trying to get to people to convince them, to sensitize them that the Plant Breeders Bill will not help us, but only bring negative effects to the economy and agriculture.
I see. Thank you very much, Adelaide. Adelaide Arthur joined us from TUC, where the Coalition for Farmers' Rights and Advocacy Against Genetically Modified Organisms has been holding a demonstration. We'll move on to some other stories. And a new survey has showed more than 1 billion smartphones were shipped last year, with Samsung extending its lead as the world's biggest vendor. According to market research firm IDC, 1.004 billion smartphones were shipped last year, marking a 38.4% increase from the previous year. South Korea's Samsung accounted for the bulk of that figure, followed by Apple and China's Huawei. Smartphones made up more than half of the 1.8 billion mobile phones sold. IDC said this was the first time more than 1 billion smartphone units were shipped in a single year. India's central bank has unexpectedly raised interest rates in an attempt to rein in stubbornly high consumer prices in a crucial election year. The Reserve Bank of India raised the benchmark repository rate, the amount at which it lends to commercial banks, to 8% from 7.75%. Economists had expected no change after its meeting in Mumbai on Tuesday. The RBI said that another near-term hike was unlikely if inflation eased to a more comfortable level. India's consumer prices index rose to 9.87% in December. The central bank last week had proposed setting a target of 4% consumer inflation by 2016. It said that the increase in the policy rate will set the economy securely on the recommended disinflationary path. That's it for business. Carwell and Tigo brings us some sports news after this. In sports, local Black Stars are looking forward to their meeting with Nigeria in the semi-finals of the ongoing African Nations Championships in South Africa. Ghana handed DR Congo a 1-0 defeat, while the Nigerians overpowered Morocco 4-3 to set up the clash.
First of all, I thank God we were able to win the match. As you saw on the PG, it wasn't easy for us, but all the same, we were able to manage to win by 1 goal to 0. So I thank God. As you can see on the pitch, it wasn't easy, but we thank Almighty God. We thank Almighty God because the Congolese, they came in all out, and we also came in all out. We determined to win this match, and that's what we saw on the pitch, and we were able to win.
I think tactically we did very well. They were possessing, and all 11 men, we had to come behind the ball. So I think we did very well. I'm very happy with our performance. The most important thing is the win. That is the 3 points. That it's the only thing that can qualify us. Whether it be 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, providing we are able to score and we are able to defend the goal, it's okay.
Barcelona forward Lionel Messi is not for sale, and the club plan to discuss a new contract with the Argentine, says President Josep Maria Bartomeu. Four-time Ballon d'Or winner Messi, 26, is reported to be a target for French side Paris Saint-Germain. Messi scored 60 goals in 50 appearances last season, but has struggled to match that goal-scoring form in 2013 to 2014. He has scored 18 goals so far, but just 8 of those have been in the league, although he has provided 36 assists in 20 appearances. Lionel Messi's last league goal came in September before he was out for 5 weeks with a hamstring injury. Manchester United new signing Juan Mata says he is relishing the prospect of playing alongside Wayne Rooney, who said was one of the best players ever to play in England. Mata became Manchester United's record signing when he completed a £37.1 million move from Chelsea on Sunday. The 25-year-old midfielder says it was the character of the club that convinced him to sign.
Coming here is a great moment for me. I feel very happy to be here, to have the chance to play in a massive club like this. And obviously the last 6 months in Chelsea were a bit difficult for me, but now I'm really happy and looking forward to win as many trophies as I can with this club, because I'm sure it's going to be a great period for me. I think number 8 is a great name, a great number as well. I like the number. I know that 7 is an iconic number in here, but I was speaking with David about it, and we decided that 8 is a good number for me, and hopefully it will bring me good luck for the next season.
Meanwhile, Newcastle and Paris Saint-Germain have agreed a fee that could pass £20 million for France international Yohan Cabaye. The French champions had a £14 million bid for the 28-year-old midfielder, which was rejected on Sunday. But a £19 million deal that could rise beyond £20 million with add-ons has now been reached. Sports is brought to you by Tigo and Cowbell. Welcome back to News Today. Ousted Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi has gone on trial Tuesday, and the first of several criminal charges facing the Islamist leader. Morsi and more than 100 members of the outlawed Muslim Brotherhood Party are facing charges for escaping prison in 2011 and allegedly killing police during the revolts that toppled longtime President Hosni Mubarak and brought Morsi to power. Many of the defendants have been identified as members of the Palestinian militant group Hamas, the Lebanon-based militia Hezbollah, and Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps. Well, Uganda's government says it doused rebel leader Joseph Kony is serious about peace after he purportedly sent a letter asking for forgiveness and calling for talks. Government official Henry Okello Oriem said a telephone conversation arranged with Kony had failed to materialize. The letter reportedly saw Kony say his Lord's Resistance Army rebel group was committed to end this war. It waged an insurgency for more than 20 years. The United Nations Human Rights Chief Navi Pillay says the security situation in the Central African Republic is getting even worse despite the inauguration of a new leader. A statement came as a Muslim and Christian leader met British Prime Minister David Cameron to lobby for more international assistance. About a million people, which is about 20% of the population, have fled their homes during months of religious violence. France, the former colonial power, has sent 1,600 troops in the CAR, working with some 4,000 from African countries. Irbad Ibrahim is an international news analyst. He's joined us over the telephone. Let's take a look at this issue over the next few minutes. Hello, Irbad.
Hello. Good afternoon, Femini.
Good afternoon to you too. You are saying that really the situation has got worse despite Catherine being president, having an interim president didn't change the situation. From where you sit, what do you think?
I think it's early days yet. We can't lay the blame at the doorstep of the new president, Catherine Samba. But Kemeni, it's quite unfortunate that people who are of the same genealogy, people who have lived together for centuries, with just one morning turn against one another, and now they are butchering one another in the streets. It's quite poignant that many of the victims are innocent people caught up in the crossfire. Some few days ago, a convoy of refugees was attempting to leave the country. When the vehicles were stopped, people as young as 8-year-olds were slashed with machetes and put to death. It's a sad episode for the continent, and it's a sad episode for the rest of the international community. The barrel of the gun has not sorted the problem because the French are deployed in there. African troops are there as well. So perhaps we need divine intervention. The Muslims and Christians of CAR should not disappoint the international community. Religious bloodshed is unfortunate and should not continue. And in the past few days, too, the former Minister for Health of the country, who was a Muslim, under Michel Dutodia, was also hacked to death in his house. So it's quite a tenuous situation, and we can only hope for the best from God.
We were very optimistic that Samba Panza coming to power was a good thing, and it could change the situation for the CAR. She has...
Sorry, you can continue.
Right. I wonder your thoughts on some of the moves she should be taking, because the last time we spoke, you spoke about dialogue being one of her very necessary steps she needs to take at the moment. The situation now, would that still be necessary?
Yeah, Chumani, dialogue has always been the best option out of the current quagmire. But unfortunately, it's very difficult to stem the tide of violence. The explanation the Christians are given is the same happened when the Seleka rebels took over the country. Therefore, they want to take their own pound of flesh from the minority Muslim population in the country. Let bygones be bygones. What is gone is gone. And therefore, I think I would like to call upon Christendom to rein in the Christians in the country. I've never been this emotional, but I feel like innocent people are being killed. And the earlier we sorted this out, the better. But politically speaking, I think she's made some, giant moves in the past few days since she was elected. She has called upon the rest of the international community to be of help, and she has handed over the olive branch to the ex-Seleka rebels to come forth and form a unified force that will be ready to protect the country. But this is an internal implosion, and therefore there's very little the international community can do. If the French have not been able to do anything to stop the current tide of violence, then I doubt any further deployment of troops will do anything to stop it. And therefore, this is a passionate appeal we are making to the people of the Central African Republic. This is a time for their religious leaders to also play a pivotal role in bringing the country back to the path of peace and stability.
Thank you very much, Irbad. Irbad Ibrahim is an international news analyst. Let's get to the U.S. and the United States says world powers will begin a new phase of talks with Iran next month on reaching a long-term nuclear deal. U.S. State Department spokeswoman Jen Psaki says the talks likely will begin in mid-February and will be held in New York. She says Iran and the European Union have agreed to hold the talks in the United States rather than in Geneva, where the last round of talks took place. She said New York was chosen because it has a similar international support structure to Geneva. The last round of negotiations led to an interim deal in which Iran agreed to stop enriching uranium that could be used in nuclear weapons. In exchange, the United States and European Union are easing some sanctions against Iran. That agreement will last only 6 months while talks continue on a permanent deal. President Barack Obama's fifth State of the Union address on Tuesday will be closely watched in the U.S. and around the world. Obama is expected to renew his call for a year of action on the U.S. economy and to help the middle class. But ongoing political polarization in Washington oppose ongoing challenges to his agenda. Last year, Obama urged U.S. lawmakers to put the nation before party. Obama is expected to highlight the end of the U.S. combat role in Afghanistan, also diplomatic efforts to end bloodshed in Syria and the removal of chemical weapons without U.S. military action. Under a new program called Lunar Catalyst, U.S. space agency NASA will provide free technical expertise, equipment, facilities and software to help selected companies develop lunar landers. Development of the commercial lunar landers would join a growing list of space transportation services that have attracted interest from U.S. companies, including Boeing Co. and Alliance Tech Systems, Inc. NASA already has turned over cargo deliveries to the International Space Station to privately owned Space Exploration Technologies, or SpaceX, and Orbital Sciences Corporation. The companies hold NASA flight services contracts worth a combined $3.5 billion. Well, thieves broke into a small church in the mountains east of Rome over the weekend and stole a reliquary with blood of the late Pope John Paul II, a custodian said on Monday. Dozens of police with sniffer dogs scoured the remote area for clues to what the Italian Catholic magazine Famiglia Cristiana called sacrilegious theft that was probably commissioned by someone. John Paul, who died in 2005, loved the mountains. Polish-born John Paul, who reigned for 27 years, is due to be made a saint of the Roman Catholic Church in May, meaning the relic will become more noteworthy and valuable. Ukraine's Prime Minister Mykola Azarov has offered his resignation to try to end the protests gripping cities across the country. Meanwhile, Ukraine's parliament has appealed a controversial set of laws restricting public protests. Prime Minister Azarov said he hoped his resignation, which still must be accepted by President Viktor Yanukovych, will create an opportunity for the peaceful settlement of the country's political crisis. On Monday, President Yanukovych announced he had agreed to scrap the anti-protest laws. The announcement came after a meeting between the president and opposition leaders. Let's talk showbiz. With the launch of the 2014 edition of the Ghana Music Awards over, some musicians have started banking their hopes on categories they feel they are their strongest. The Boys' Abre hitmaker Guru, for instance, is sure he will sweep at least 3 awards on the final day, including being named the Artist of the Year. Quite ambitious. Let's take a listen.
See you, baby. Hey, me mama is Hey. As is typical every year, musicians and music industry players are sitting on the edge as they await the nomination list for the annual music awards. While some are not too sure if they will make the cut, others are confident of their performance in the year under review and are convinced they will get a nod. One of such persons is the Boy Sabre hitmaker, Guru, who is not only eyeing the nominations in the regular categories, but the enviable Artist of the Year category. He explains he deserves the award because of his hit song, Boy Sabre, stating that the song was on everyone's lips in 2013 and became a popular term used in public conversations.
Boy Sabre, Al-Qaeda, why you the one flex? Al-Qaeda, Boy Sabre, Al-Qaeda, why you the one flex?
So, here are some top categories Guru has his eyes on. Most popular song of the year, Artist of the Year, Hip Life Album of the Year, Best Rapper and Hip Life Song of the Year. Let's see if he gets nominated in any of these categories.
Our headlines again. The Accra Area Blood Bank appeals for more blood donation as stocks have drastically dwindled, putting lives at risk. A survey shows more than 1 billion smartphones were shipped last year, with Samsung extending its lead as the world's biggest vendor. UN Human Rights Chief Navi Pillay says the security situation in the Central African Republic is getting even worse despite the inauguration of a new leader. That's more news on myjoyonline.com. Thank you very much for staying through the hour. My name is Kemini Nyamani Amana. Goodbye.